Here's what I think I have to do. I've gone through some case law, there are some articles in California law reviews on this that are sort of insightful. It's come up, so I have to deal with it. And basically, your client, this is, well, it's uncomfortable here. I'm going to make a couple of inquiries. And I have to protect the record. I do have to worry about, in the event that there is a conviction, that I covered this. And part of this is just to protect your client, because she has a right to conflict-free counsel. Having said that, let me ask you a couple of questions here.
Judge, I would then say, if Your Honor is inclined to make inquiries, that we would request, especially since the state has no objections, we would request that they be done in camera, because they do deal with confidential natures, and I think it's certainly
okay. You're just talking about most of my questions actually had to do with
unless they revolve around her affidavit. I can certainly,
well, they revolve around that and your filing, and if there's anything you want to tell me in camera, that's fine. I think my questions are fairly simple, and I have to determine whether or not a conflict exists. If one does exist, she has a couple of choices that she can make, which is either waive the conflict, or she can say, I want a new lawyer. Presumably, we're not going to have that problem here. Having said that, you have filed, and you tell me if this is something that you want to do in camera. Let's go question by question. You filed an objection, motion to strike, in paragraph number 9. Do you have it there in front of you? Let me just have you.
Yeah, actually I have it here.
Let me just go through a few things with you, and then if you
Yes,
feel
sir.
like it needs to be done in camera, we will do that. All right, do you have it there?
Yes.
Okay. Paragraph 9, you talk in the first sentence there about not engaging in matters of speculation. Then you say the undersigned's retainer agreement does not contain any clauses allowing him financial gain based on selling the rights of Ms. Casey Anthony's story, nor are there any other instruments giving defense counsel or any third party the rights to Ms. Casey Anthony's story. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
All right, and I'm not going to swear you in. You're an officer of the court. You filed basically a verified pleading. And that would be including co-counsel?
Yes, sir.
The undersigned counsel can represent to the court that it has no conflicts of interest. Again, you would verify that that's true?
Yes, sir.
Is there only one retainer agreement?
Yes, sir. Oh, no. There is actually another retainer agreement.
A second one?
A second one.
Okay.
With one for myself and one for Miss Kenny Bodden. She has one as well.
Okay. I don't know anything about hers, but the retainer agreement, you only have one with Ms. Anthony, and you've represented to the court that it contains no clauses regarding financial gain and the selling of the rights to her story, correct?
Absolutely, sir.
Is there only, between you and Ms. Anthony, is there any literary rights fee agreement? Does one exist?
No, sir.
Can you say the same about co-counsel, Ms. Bodden?
Yes, I can.
Your testimony would be the same?
Yes, sir.
All right, and you don't mind in camera showing to the court. This can be simply dropped off at my office so that the court can review those two retainer agreements. Any objection to that?
I have no objection to that.
All right. Is there anything else that you want to tell me? All right, let me ask you another question. In terms of expenses in this matter, is there any different manner or means of paying expenses other than you're paying them, or your office is paying them, or agreeing to pay them?
I think those put us in a level of confidentiality that I would prefer answering on camera.
That's fine. Let me do this. Anything else that you want to tell me? Because then I have a couple of questions that I want to ask your client. Again, along those same lines and in reference to her sworn affidavit. Anything else that you want to tell me on this topic?
No, Judge. I think I can, if there's any questions that Your Honor has.
All right.
Of
Well,
any
regarding
confidential
the costs, Mr. Ashton?
Judge, I would like you to expand and get the definition of story. In other words, does story include photographs, videos, and things of that sort, as I expressed in my motion here?
I'm going to object
Sir, if I may finish my statement, sir.
Excuse me.
I'll do that in camera
Okay, that's fine.
to the extent that I'm satisfied. I'm sorry, Mr. Baez, was there anything else?
No, I was going to object to, the prosecutor doesn't get an inquisition of the defense counsel. I would object to that whole procedure, and but I guess Your Honor answered the question. So,
all right, thank you. All right, we need to. Again, no need to swear you in. You're an officer of the court. We do need to swear in Ms. Anthony briefly. She can just remain seated there.
Raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you.
All right, thank you. Tell me your name, please.
P.C. Marie Anthony.
All right, Ms. Anthony, I have a sworn affidavit filed by you apparently on or about March 10th of 09. You recall the affidavit that you filed?
Yes.
Okay, you can remain seated. In this affidavit, paragraph 3, you indicate you signed and executed a retainer agreement for my attorney's services, correct?
Yes.
All right, and again, that's true, right?
Yes.
And in paragraph, oh, by the way, there was only one retainer agreement that you signed with Mr. Baez?
Yes.
All right, and then in paragraph number 4, you say the retainer agreement does not contain any clauses or parts that allow or entitle him to any rights that would allow him to sell my story or that of my daughter, Kaylee Marie Anthony. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay, also in paragraph number 4, the him that you refer to, is that Mr. Baez?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And finally, in paragraph number 5, you say there are no other agreements selling my story, and that's true?
Yes.
Does any literary rights fee agreement exist between you and Mr. Baez?
No.
All right, and the other items in your sworn affidavit are true?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Judge, I do want to clarify something for the court.
Go ahead.
There was a separate retainer agreement that was signed initially with the child neglect case. I just want to clarify that for the court. That was signed the date of my being retained, which I believe was July 17th.
All right.
That one was superseded with the one that I was referring to. That one contains nothing of the kind. When I got involved in this case,
Is it still around, or was it thrown away when you executed a new retainer agreement?
it was superseded by the new agreement. Of course.
Any
I'd have
problem?
to look.
Does it still exist? Do you still have it?
I'd have to look. I haven't seen it in a while, but I'm certain.
If you have it, the court would like to get a copy of it, and of the second one, once the charge is changed, if you would give that to me. Also, the court would request, again, this can simply be a copy that you provide to me that I'll review in camera, and I'll either return the copy to you or tear them up and throw it away.
Just so I want to be clear, so there's no accusations of being misleading. The second retainer agreement, the charges were still child neglect, but they included any future charges that might come.
I understand.
The first retainer agreement was done before this case became what it has become.
Just only comment, and we'll discuss this more when we're in camera, but whatever documents the court's provided, I would ask that they be sealed in the court file so we have a permanent record of what the court was examining in case it comes up in the future.
I can simply do that. That's not a big deal. The court would seal them. As far as I'm concerned, we can meet in camera right now. This, I think, should be a fairly short conversation. And when I say in camera, we can simply walk into the back here and discuss this. And any problem with doing that right now?
Yep. We will have a court reporter present at the in-camera, correct? I think it needs to be recorded.
That's fine.
All right. Let's take a break right now. I don't even know if there's a place to sit back here. Deputies, I'm used to being in the other... Pardon?
We already have a space for it.
Really? Okay.
We have the jury room, too, here, which is probably...
Are we okay over here?
We have room for 2 to sit there. Over here we have more. But both have been checked.
That's fine. We can go this way then, and that's available. All right.
All right, so there they go, in camera, which is Latin. Obviously, Tony Pepitone joined us here, meaning they are going to be in chambers and private, out of the view of the public, as you just saw this entire thing go down. And we heard from Casey Anthony, kind of unexpected. We didn't know if it would happen, but it did, Tony. What did you take out of what we just saw?
Well,